I haven't found God yet, but I think today is the day. Today is the day, right after Dinah, right after Nelson and Mr. Booms and Agustin. That's the day, right? Well, you don't use these words in Toastmasters. Hi, gosh. So, I didn't have so many tragic incidents in my life. I didn't marry the woman of my love very late in my age. I had kids, I have a dog too. Never campaigned for a stupid mayor. I don't have any tragic incidents in my life, man, guys. It's a mess. You know, I have a tragic incident today. That's why I'm going to find God right afterwards. The tragic incident is that I chose to be the last speaker. And then Jenny over here, the organizer, says, Raju, and just before I got up, she said, is there anything else you want? I said, no, I was pretty dead. I've been buried 6 feet under, and you want something else after that? There's no way, man. Well, see, look, I prepared a very funny presentation, and there's no room for funny presentations right after what we heard, did we, right? And I have no tragic stories. So Alvin and I were talking outside. He said, Raju, I think you better surrender, because a smart, creative leader surrenders when he knows it's the time to surrender. When he knows he's beat, he leaves. He comes back the next day to fight. So I'm going to leave. I'm going to come back during the next creativity. Yeah? Next year, this same place, you know, same venue, same guys here. Do you promise to come back? Say yes. Are you stupid? Selfish. Suicidal. Say yes. Good, you'll be successful. So, screw the PowerPoint. Just shut it off, you know. Well, let me just wrap up quickly. I don't know how much time I have, but I'm going to keep it shorter than these three guys, for sure. Nelson was right. Creativity does rise from nothing. Think of this. So the first creative act was, let there be light. That means there was nothing before that, right? Every time people in the business world, or the political world, or the social world, every time they want to build something new, if they want to create something new, if they want to construct, if they want to change something, they've got to clear their background. That means everything before that point, when they start to want, to change, to create, to construct, has to be put away. Yeah? There has to be made a fresh start. Yeah. So I teach creative thinking massively to people, problem solving, new processes, new systems, new strategies. And the first thing you got to do is you got to let go of the past. Let go, clean up, you know. So she said, bring the equity from the past. That makes a lot of sense. That's one thing. The other things for creativity is all neuroscience based and also psychological, based from the school of psychology. But given what has been done today, given what you have understood, I could give you many other points. I could tell you how intention is required, how synergy is required, how action is required, how guts is required. No? But let me take you to something way beyond that you guys are lucky, you're younger than I am, no? That we as human beings realize, and we only realize it when we're up there, facing that. So, one tragic incident in my life is that I wasn't able to do everything I wanted to do. I failed 1,000 times. And you're right, success is learning to live through failure. So here's my most tragic story. As a kid, My mom was bedridden. Ever since I was a kid, I remember my mom was bedridden. And she couldn't walk. She used to hobble around the house. Not walk, hobble. And I used to take her for a walk to the garden in the neighborhood. And one day, right in the middle of the street, crossing the street from the garden to the house, my mom fell down on the street. Tragic. Yeah. And I was about 7 years old, not 8 years old. And there's my mom in the middle of the street, in a street called, in Pune, Main Street, like High Street. She was there, 7 years old. I didn't know what to do. I had no idea what to do. I mean, scooters and bicycles were coming around. And anyway, some people came by and helped my mom up, and we hobbled back together. I was 7. I swore to myself that, Mom, one day I'm going to be a doctor, and I'll heal you. Well, I'm sure many of you did that for your mom or your dad or people you loved. So when I reached my teens and it was time to go to college, I said, hey, becoming a doctor takes a lot of money back then, even now, and it takes 6 years. And I figured my mom was crossing 50, I was 15, another 10, 15 years until I become a doctor. She might die, right? She'd probably find God, but hey, I won't be able to get my dream. So I gave up that dream. But in the process after that, my mom survived until the 90s, and I looked after her, I served her, I gave her a lot of love. Here's one thing she told me. There were 2 incidents which are very powerful with me and my mom. One, let me tell you what she first told me. So she was here with me in 1997, and by this time her bones were all wrinkled up, and I brought her on a wheelchair to the Philippines, took her to Puerto Azul, Batangas, she had fun. I was rich. I lost 28 million. And I said, Mom, looking back at life, is there something that you wouldn't have done? Something that you think you'd have changed a long time ago? Being a leader that you are, because you lead me, you inspire me. And she said, Raju, I shouldn't have been angry. Just that, she said. Everything else was fine. I commanded, I controlled, I inspired people, but I shouldn't have been angry. In the depths of my heart, Raju, I was angry, and I realized all the reasons behind my being angry were useless, nothing. And that was a powerful lesson to me. It was a turning point in my life, and I realized that we all live in anger. We all do. We have a grudge somewhere back there, or if you don't have a grudge somewhere back there, we have a grudge somewhere right here, or the future is not working right for us. That's where the grudge lies, and that's where my anger lies. And you gotta take that out. You gotta rip it out of your system, out of your soul. That anger. It's like that black Spider-Man that covers you. You gotta rip it out. So that's a process. That's a process towards becoming a better yourself. That's one very powerful one. Take that, rip it off, and it doesn't happen in a day. It's not like Spider-Man, you surround yourself with bells and you bang it and the coat comes off. No, you gotta rip it from your skin every single day, the anger, the hatred, the bitterness that lies inside of you. And why does it grow on us? We are human. We are made of flesh and bone, and it can pick up stuff. That's one lesson. The other incident I remember with my mom was that after years of failure, there was a moment in my life, about 5 or 6 years of suffering in the Philippines, going around the world, being broke. I succeeded. There was a happy year in my life. And I had gone back home, and now my mom was in her late 60s, I was in my mid-30s. And I was by her knees, because in India, we make manu by the feet of the mother. So I had made manu by the feet, and I was sitting down, and she says, Ranshu, what was different this time? Yeah? 30 years of screwed up life, traveling around the world, changing jobs, not being successful. Why is it that this year was different? And this is what I responded. I said, Mom, I realized that I gave up something from inside of me. And in India, Raveen here might know, he's from Hyderabad. The word there is ahankar. That means, like Filipinos call kapwa, that means I see my own reflection. Ahankar is the word that says, I see a reflection of myself that is bigger, broader, and larger than me. Ego. Yeah? And I told her, Mom, I gave that one up. I saw things clearly. Yeah, I didn't see them from the perspective of macho, guapo, successful, matalino. No. I saw it from the eyes of a humble human being. My world turned. So anger and a correct self-image. So you're saying, Raju, how does it make you creative? I said, clean your backgrounds, right? Clear up your soul, clear up your systems. Your future becomes creative because once you have a blank, then you can draw something new out of that blank. Does that make sense? Can I write a book on that? But here's a book I want to write, and that's what I'm going to close on. Okay? How's my time? I'm still okay. So here's the one I'm going to close on. This is a little bit of Indian name, and so if you don't understand the Indian part, ask Ravindra to translate, or Dinah here is really great bit in Bombay. Even Boom, you know, he's been to Bahrain, met a crow, met a little crow. You've never seen crows here, right? But they're really ugly birds. So, 5,000 years ago in India, there was the culture of Gurukul. Kul as in school, Guru as in teacher. There was a Mahaguru. Maha as in great, as in like Maharlika. Great Guru, the best. Marshall Smith, John Maxwell, Boom Son of Gusti, all put in one. Yeah? He was powerful, he was successful, and he charged the fees 1,000 times that of Dinah Loomis. 6,000 years ago. All blue-blooded people used to line up to be coached by this gentleman. And there was always a waiting list, way up to Fort Bonifacio and Visayas Avenue and Commonwealth there. Such a big haba pila. Blue-blooded kings and princes, etc. You know. Of his top students, there was a student called Arjun. Say yes. Yes. Louder. Yes. Arjuna was a guy who could take a bow and arrow, look at the reflection of a flying arrow in the skies, in the heavens, the blue skies from your book. Yeah? He could see a bird flying there, look at the reflection, use the bow and arrow, look down, shoot the eye off the arrow, crow. That's how good he was. He was the great-grandfather of Achilles. Just kidding. Yeah, told us. So Greece and India have no connection, but that's the story. Now, during that time, I used to live in Visayas Avenue, Quezon City, Commonwealth, in the shanties over there with Boom. A guy just like me, not me, you know? And so this ordinary human being from the shanties, teenager whose mother fell down on the streets of India one day, he wanted to be as good an archer as Arjuna. He wanted to learn the sciences, the literature, the music, the great books, the wisdom of that age. He wanted to be blue-blooded even though he lived in the shanties. So he told his daddy, he said, Dad, I want to go and I want to meet this great Mahaguru. I want to learn from him. I want to be a part of his Gurukul, which was at that time called EIM. Just kidding you. So father said, you can't afford it. Crazy car. Freddie Aguilar wrote your song. You are no good. Sorry. Well, you don't know what's happening here, no? So, That's humor, by the way. I don't have the book outside. It's sold out. So, where was I? Yeah. So that you can't afford it. You don't have the money. You don't have the blue blood. You cannot be qualified to go into the Mahaguru school. But he was persistent, which is one of the characteristics of a good leader. But he said, I'm going to go. So he goes up to the school, and in front of the Mahaguru, he kneels down, and he says, I want to be your student. And the Guru looks down at him, and he says, sorry, you can't afford it, you're not blue-blooded, you live in the shanties, get out. So the young boy turned away and left. Young boy from the shanties, skinnier than Lance over here, just skinnier than Raveen over here. He left. Now, before I continue the rest of the story, I want you to do this. I want you to raise your right hand, stick your thumb out, grab your right hand thumb with your left and try to bend it. Yeah, bend it towards your hand like that. I can't do it because I have a mic. So hold it and pull it. See if you can touch your wrist. Can you? No. Which one of you can? Is there anyone who gets really, really close to the wrist? Okay, that hurts. Exactly. So let's hold the story for a while. I'll come back to this exercise. So the boy turned around and he went back to his province. He went back to his barangay. He went up to his kubo in the jungle, in the shanties. And there he was so determined, he created an effigy of the Mahaguru, put it upon a pedestal, bought the books, downloaded some, the free ones from eBay, downloaded all the books on literature, on music, on philosophy, on the sciences, etc., began to read, began to self-study, began a process of discipline, sacrifice, focus, determination, you name it, he did it. He would take the bow and arrow and he would keep shooting in the dark. He would take the sword and battle a non-existing foe. 20 years passed by. The sounds of the jungles were filled with the sounds of a boy practicing to be a great archer, a great warrior, all by himself. 20 years later, the Mahaguru on a horse, and with the truth behind him, just like a Shakespearean story, was traveling through the jungle hunting. I don't know why Mahagurus had to hunt that time, because Hindus are supposed to be vegetarians, but anyway, part of the story, part of the creative process. So out he was hunting in the jungle with his dogs, Pishners and Dachshunds, and you name it, Snoopy was part of the gang. There was a very noisy dog. And the Mahaguru said, how I wish the dog would shut up so I can hunt in peace. The moment he said that, the sounds of the jungle were filled with wishing sounds of flying arrows. Psst, 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 psst. 7 sounds. Pin drop silence, just like this room. And as the Mahaguru and his horses trotted up, they saw a dog, Snoopy, with his mouth filled with little harmless blunt arrows. The dog had been silenced by arrows without piercing the skin of the dog, making him silent. Imagine Snoopy with a bunch of arrows in his mouth, no blood, no scar, no wound, no fear of death. The Mahaguru comes up and he says, by golly, Tagalog yan, no, that time. He said, by golly, sino kaya gawa ito? Who did this, no? Back in the 6,000 years ago in India. Who did this? Step forward. So at that time, a nice, handsome-looking boy, like Nelson na lang, no? Handsome-looking young man, sharply full of muscles, steps out and with a bow and arrow in his hand, and he's dirty, covered with dust, because he lived in the shanty town. And he said, ako po yun, sir. No, he didn't say Tagalog. He said, it was me, my lord. I'm the one who shot the dog with arrows. And then the Mahaguru says, he says, oh man, that's an amazing skill. You must be stupid, you must be suicidal, you must be selfish. You are successful. Well, who taught you this? And then comes the $1 million reply. The boy goes, Master, you did that. Master, you did. You taught me this. And, well, let your jaws drop. You go like this, huh? Go Tagalog. Sometimes when you don't get it, you go, ah. Ah. The master went, ah. Right? And so anyway, when he got the story from the boy, the master was in a quandary. He said, well, if you can become so good by yourself in the jungle, practicing yourself, no tutor, no teacher, no books, nothing, no boom, San Agustin, no Dinah, to give you training, even Raju wasn't around. How do you get paid up? You know? So he was a bit concerned. So he said, well, boy, Nelson, do you know the culture in India that when you learn something from someone better than you, a mentor or a coach, you got to pay? Yeah? In those days it was called Guru Dakshina, honorarium we call it in speakers' world, because that's what we get sometimes as speakers, coffee cups and neckties and honorarium, or 5 pesos or 50 pesos. So you owe me something because I taught you for 20 years. And the boy dropped down back again on his knees and he said, sure, master. Ask me, what is it that you want? What is it that you wish for me to grant you with, to gift you with? You name it and you'll have it. Here's the question. Now you've been thinking, creative thinking, etc., etc. Tell me, what is it that the master, the Mahaguru would have asked of the little warrior there, who self-made warrior? What do you think was the request of this Mahaguru? Take a shot. Go, think, interact.
Teach me how you do it.
One at a time. Don't speak together. No, that's how we do in the Senate. One at a time. Go boom. What did he say?
Spread the word.
Spread the word. Spread the word. Spread the disease. Let everyone become an archer and shoot my dog in the butt. No, not that one. Anything else? Yes.
Remove my arrows. Remove your arrows from my dog.
Yeah. Give my hot dog back. Yes.
Join me.
Join me. Become my assistant. Teach me, that's a good one. That's a very humble one. That's a great one. You will someday become a great guru. Anything else? Come on, think higher, think powerful, think strategy, business, Think selfish.
Work for me.
Work for me? Yeah? Contractual, be my virtual assistant. I'm in the Philippines, man. Well, here's the deal. He said, son, okay, him na lang. Sige, bahala. I was giving you the opportunity to be the bida. He said, son, grant me with the thumb from your right hand. Keep it open. Grant me with the gift of your thumb from your right hand. Pulled out a big Rambo-like knife, the little boy, chopped it off, let it drop at the feet of the Mahaguru. Blood spilling now. Didn't even blink, chopped it right out. Question. Why would a mentor, a coach, a guru, a teacher ask something from someone so magnificent to give up, which could be the only trigger to his success, to his talent, to his potential? Why kaya? Bakit kaya? Kino? in India, sorry. ¿Por qué in Spanish? Why? Why do you think? Think. You had 3 great teachers speak to you.
So he could unlearn and then learn something new.
That's a good one. That's pretty close to what I'm teaching you, right? Thank you very much for listening well. Give him a round of applause. Good listening skills. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
You want to know if a mentor, if he will, if that Boy.
Still continue being good.
Okay.
Yeah? Still continue being good. That means seek excellence on himself. Still continue, no? By the way, this mind map is in the book of called Balita, Prosperity. So I just picked it out, just to one of the mind maps I did for that boy, called Balita. So, here's the deal. I'll wrap up. I have no idea how much time I'm going. The reason the Mahaguru asked for the thumb, everyone, 1.5 billion Indians think today, the reason the Mahaguru asked for the thumb was because the Mahaguru was selfish. He wanted to continue his branding, did not want competition. He wanted to be successful himself. He wanted a pillar of possible students lined up all the way to Quezon City from AIM. That's what 1.2 billion Bombay's believe. I need to tell you, my friend, you represent them, they're all wrong. That's not what the Mahaguru wanted. The right thumb represents the hardness of one's ego. The harder your thumb, the more kapal your ego is. When the man asked him to chop off his ego, which drove him to success, to creativity, to leadership, to excellence, to self-actualization, to reaching his dreams, he chopped that one thing off. Because, ladies and gentlemen, not because he wanted him to excel again, not because he wanted him to teach, he wasn't concerned about his business, because being a Mahaguru, he knew, he saw signs, shades, tremors of subtle, false ego in this self-made warrior. And you can only excel, become greater than who you are today, after you peel out that black soul that lives inside us and surrounds us. The black soul of ego. Trust me. Pride, anger, hatred, bitterness. Take that out, everything becomes possible. Everything becomes easy. It becomes a blue horizon outside. That's my story. Yeah? I hope that makes sense to you. No? Leadership is so many other things. I had 3 points that I'll put this up on slideshow. You can download it. No? But the most powerful story, the way to become a leader. What is a leader? Leader is somebody who keeps becoming better himself and draws a million others to become as good as they can be or better. And he does that creatively again and again and again till the day he dies. Yeah? Thus he keeps taking that leap of faith, not once, but every single living moment of his life and days. Mabuhay. I'm screwed. Stupid. I'm suicidal. So I want to leave you with this. It's really a great story. Some of the stories were true to me. Yeah? And it's a great learning in the story. So one day I want to write that book. And I hope you'll edit it and you'll back me up with funds. And you'll probably put a foreword on it. But on this note, I don't want to leave you with some fabulous quotes, but here's my favorite quote, which kind of wraps up the whole thing. From where you are to where you want to go, the path is not long, but the way is deep. You cannot just shuffle there. You cannot just strut there. You cannot just saunter there. You have to take a bloody leap. From where you want to where you want to go, the path is not long, but the way is deep. You cannot just shuffle there. You have to take a leap every single day. Namaste, Madhuraya, and God bless you.